Good evening, children. Today, in this revision class, we are going to learn about Chapter 8, that is Civilizing the Natives through Western Education. First, we will discuss how Western education was introduced in India. Already we have learned in the previous chapter that British totally captured the administrative, political and economic powers of India. After that, they want to modernize the Indian society, that is socially and culturally. That also in order to gain only their benefits. They don't want to actually develop the Indians, but for their purpose, they want to educate them and they want to use these Indians, educated Indians, to work in their what we call as courts, companies, etc. And they want to make them feel that Europeans, that is the British culture, the European culture, are superior and better than the Indian culture, and they want to make they make them feel that the Europeans are their masters, are their boss. So like this, first British try to modernize the Indian through Western education to make them accept that the Europeans are superior than the Indians. But some British are against this idea and they wanted to educate the Indians through the best texts of Hindus and Muslims, through different languages like Persian, Sanskrit, Arabic, etc. So these peoples who supported the existing Indian traditional or education system were known as Orientalists. So those British officers or those British who supported the traditional Indian learning styles from the different texts, religious books, both from Hindus and the Muslims, in their own mother tongue, in their own languages, that is Persian, Sanskrit and Arabic. So those people were known as Orientalists. Some examples who support Orientalists were like Governor General Warren Hastings, British parliamentarian Edmund Burke, who was also a Supreme Court judge, Sir William Jones, Sir Henry Thomas Colebrook, Nathaniel Halhed, etc. So these people, they wanted to introduce an education system which will not hurt the Indian education and culture and society. So due to their efforts, different institutions were opened, like the Calcutta Madrasa was opened in 1781 by Warren Hastings for the study of Persian and Arabic languages. That means in this Calcutta Madrasa, they are going to study the religious texts from the Persian and Arabic languages. During 1791, Sanskrit College was opened due to the efforts from Sir Jonathan Duncan in Benares for the study of law and literature. Afterwards, Sir William Jones also started a journal called Asiatic Researches. So like this, different Orientalists made different efforts to develop the Indian culture and Indian traditional learning styles in India. So now we are going to learn what is the main differences between Anglicists and Orientalists. Already we have learned about Orientalists. Now let us see who are these Anglicists. Anglicists are those people who believe that Western education is superior than the ancient Indian learning, and they also think that the existing ancient Indian learning style is totally unscientific and it is narrow. That means they thought that Indians will not learn anything, they will not develop through this type of education. So on the other hand, Orientalists believe in promoting education in India through Indian ancient learning styles. They believe that India has very rich heritage, culture and different types of texts from its civilization. That means from the Indus Valley civilization onwards. So which are the hidden things, hidden heritage, hidden culture of the Indians. They want to discover it and they want to teach to the Indians, and like this they want to develop the Indians through their own culture and tradition. But Anglicists argue that in ancient Indian education is full of errors, and it is a waste of time and money. That means it's totally unscientific, and investing money by the British government on the Orientalist ideas, that means the ancient Indian style of learning, is totally waste of money, because this kind of education has full of errors. Like this is the opinion of Anglicists. On the other side, Orientalists, they believe that Indians will respect the British as their masters if British promote their heritage and culture through education, not without hurting their culture and heritage, but promoting their culture and heritage through that also in education. So, but these Anglicists were also supported by many Indian social reformers, like example like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, because these Indian social reformers, they believe that evil practices in India like sati culture, already you have learned in the previous chapter, child marriage, how the widows suffer even after Widow Marriage Act was passed, and many other superstitions. So they want to support the Western education, that is the Anglicists, to remove all these kind of evil practices and superstition. On the other side, Orientalists, they want to promote Western education only to get jobs by the Indians. But such kind of Western education promotion should not destroy or hurt the Indian culture, and this Indian culture should be remain safe and should not mix with the Western culture, and because due to this Western education system, any Indian culture should not be destroyed. So children, this is the differences between Anglicists and the Orientalists. Now again we are going to learn about Wood's dispatch. So what is Wood's dispatch? The turning point in the history of education in India came during the time of Lord Dalhousie in 1854. Sir Charles Wood, who was the president of Board of Control of English East India Company in London, sent an education dispatch or proposal to the Governor General of India in the year 1854. So his recommendations or his proposals to change the education system in India came to be known as Wood's Dispatch of 1854. So here are some points about Wood's Dispatch. He recommended that English should be the medium of instruction. That means the education system in India, the transaction of the classes should be only through English, not only in any other languages. He also recommended that there should be great attention should be paid on elementary education and female education. That means we should develop elementary education, that is up to 8th class, and female education also need to develop so that there will be equal status for both men and women. He also encouraged to open private education by giving grant in aid by the British government, and he said that English medium schools, colleges and universities must use graded system. That means mark or graded system, grade A, B, C, D. Graded system should be used in schools, colleges and the universities. For higher studies, universities must be set up, because many Indians suffer after studying up to high school or up to intermediate level. Many Indians drop out from their education because of there is no universities at that time in India. So he recommended that the government should set up many universities through different cities of India. So in order to create all this successful, he also recommended that there should be teachers training institutions so that more efficient and well-trained teachers is available in India. So this is about Wood's Dispatch. Now we are going to learn about Pastula System. Pastula system is an ancient Indian education system. Around 1000 Pastula and 20 lakh students in Bengal and Bihar region were there. In the region of Bengal and Bihar region were there when it was calculated by Sir William Adam. So when Sir William Adam counted the population or the number of Pastula education in the year 1835 to 37, he almost took 2 years to conduct a survey on the Pastula education, and he found that there were 1000 Pastula schools and nearly 20 lakh students attended the schools in Bengal and Bihar region. So we are going to discuss about the main features of this Pastula system and how it is different from the Western education or Western learning styles. In these Pastula schools, children attend school according to their neat and comfortable time. Because here you need to understand that in this education system, many children are from the poor background, so they are unable to attend the schools according to the school time. So it is we can call it's a very flexible schooling system, because children are allowed to attend the school according to their comfortable time. The schools remain closed during the harvest season because most of the students were from the farmers' background. Their family, their father, mothers, and their family members are farmers. So they also during the harvesting season, they also need to participate or help to their family members in harvesting the crops. So schools remain closed during the harvest seasons. There were no proper classroom, no proper school building, no chairs and tables, no blackboards, no examination or no annual examination at all, no fixed fees, no printed books. These were not there in this Pastula school system. The rich family students, that means the students who belongs to rich family, they had to pay more fees compared to the students who belongs to poor family. Classes were orally taught by the gurus irrespective of their age. There was no proper age restriction that from this age to this age group should be sit in this class, this age group should be sit in this class. So such kind of age restrictions was not there. The gurus divided the students according to their ability or levels of learning, and he transacted the class orally. There was no written things happen, or no book or no textbook, no notebooks or no written things was happen. So this is about Pastula education system. We can call it a very flexible education system in India before the advent of the British, because of this what we call as no restrictions of age, no proper textbooks, no examinations, or children were allowed to learn of their own whichever they are interested. So we can call it a very flexible education system. After that, after Sir William Adams conduct a survey on the Pastula education system, the British thought that by the middle of 19th century, they want to change the education system of Pastulas also. So they started to make different laws on the education system of India. So we are going to discuss about those education systems which was introduced by the British government. First, British government appointed different pandits, and these different pandits were given the responsibility to look after the Pastulas. That means for each pandit was given around 4 to 5 Pastula schools to look after. That means the pandit will be in charge for 4 to 5 Pastulas. He will look after the progress of the Pastula schools. Next, Guru must submit periodic reports and follow timetable. Now, which in earlier Pastula system, Guru was the independent teacher. Now he is not independent at all. He is now bound with the fixed rules and regulations, with the reports and proper timetable need to follow. Next, Pastula should follow rules set by the government. Whatever the rules set by the government regarding education system in India, the Pathshala also need to follow. Now Pathshala is not at all flexible. We cannot call a flexible after introduction of such kind of laws, because they also need to follow the set of rules set by the British government. Gurus also need to follow only according to the textbook. Previously in the Pastula system, Gurus taught according to his knowledge. Whatever he thinks that children need to learn such kind of things. Like if he thinks that children need to learn about counting, if he thinks that children need to learn about astrology, he used to teach according to his knowledge and collection of his knowledge. But now he need to follow only textbook. That means he is bound with a textbook. He cannot go beyond it. Annual exam also introduced. Yeah, so annual exam happened after this rules was introduced by the British. Now students must pay regular fees, attend school regularly, sit on fixed seats, and follow new rules set up by the British government. Now after these rules were set up, students need to pay regular fees. That means there is a fixed fee for all the students, irrespective of their financial background. Previously only rich children should pay more fees and poor students should pay less fees. Now it was not happen after the introduction of these rules. Now they need to sit in a proper classroom with benches, desks, tables, etc. And they also need to follow very strict rules, which is also introduced by the British. So due to these different sets of rules started introduced by the British, there was so much effect to the Indian education system. So because of this, many Pathshalas did not agree with the set of rules introduced by the British. So those who are not agree with the British Pathshala system, they were not, those who are not agree with the new set of rules introduced by the British, many those Pathshala schools were not given grant in it. That means grant was not given by the British. So due to these changes, many Pathshalas were shut down, means closed. Many students drop out because they cannot pay regular fees. Moreover, the strict rules of the British education system they cannot follow, and moreover they cannot attend the school regularly, as most of the Indian students were from the poor family background. Next, at last we are going to discuss about different opinions on Western education. In this chapter we are going to discuss only about two people's opinion, that is Mahatma Gandhi and Rabindranath Tagore. Mahatma Gandhi was totally against the colonial education in India. He was totally against the colonial education, what we call as Western education in India. He argued that it created a sense that we are inferior to the British. That means he argued that because of this Western education, we think ourselves that we are lower than the British and the British is higher than us. So, but on the other hand, Rabindranath Tagore, he want to mix, or he want to combine the Western education with Indian traditional learning with the best elements. That means best elements in the sense with all the good things from the religious texts and the other old textbooks from the Indian style. He want to take out all those good things and he want to mix with the Western education, and he want to set up a new style of learning in India. Mahatma Gandhi opposed the colonial education, that Western education, because he thinks that because of Western education, we Indians are making the slave of the British, and because of Western education, we feel ourselves as a stranger in our own land. Stranger means that unknown person. We feel unknown or stranger to our own land. On the other hand, Rabindranath Tagore did not like the culture of Western education, which is limited only in the four walls of a classroom with strict rules. He don't want to study in the four walls of a classroom, and he wants the students to be given freedom, explore the world and learn by themselves. Again, Mahatma Gandhi proposed that handicrafts should be included in the school curriculum to make the students self-supporting. That means his idea is that if we include handicrafts in our schooling system, children will improve in their art and crafts. Not only art and crafts, they will also understand the dignity of labor, and they will understand what is practical learning instead of only learning by rote memorization. That means reading and by hearting the things which is only written in a textbook. So he want to make the students learn by themselves by doing. That is practical learning. And on the other hand, Rabindranath Tagore proposed that learning should be happen outside the classroom, excursion should be happen in the forest or in open areas, and learning should be happen under the trees, so that students can feel the harmony of nature. So he believed that when the students are in touch with the nature, students can learn better instead of learning in a four-side wall classrooms. So he set up his dream school called Santiniketan by the year 1901. So like this, I hope children, you have understood about this chapter 8, Civilizing the Natives through Western Education. If there is any doubt, please clarify the doubts.